Hey there, welcome to my channel. I'm Ashley and today we are doing a slow yoga flow to open the heart chakra, also known as Anahata. And this chakra is really related to our ability to emotionally connect with ourselves and each other, to be able to be open to receive and open to give love, compassion, understanding, things like that. So throughout this practice, focus on the quality of the heart, the ability to give and receive, that reciprocity between ourselves and maybe another person or people, and just allow yourself to be gentle with yourself, especially if this kind of thing or this kind of practice is hard for you. So without further ado, we'll go ahead and get started. Feel free to close your eyes to connect more inward with yourself. Notice how you're feeling emotionally, mentally, physically, spiritually. And take a full breath in. As you exhale, let it out with a sigh. Gently open your eyes. Go ahead and start on all fours, hands and knees. Wrists under your shoulders, knees under your hips for cat and cow. Around your spine, bring your chin toward your chest, tailbone through your legs. On your inhale, reverse the movement. Curl into your lower, middle, upper back. Moving back and forth slowly, easefully with your breath. Next time you come into cow pose, the back bended shape, walk your knees back a few inches. Keep your hips off the floor as you bend your elbows and try to take your sternum to the floor between your hands and hold here. Push your chest down, push your knees down, lift your hips. Feel free to walk your hands back. Breathe here. Push your hips down to the floor, pull your shoulders back, and then curl into cobra pose. Lift your sternum, pull your shoulders back, using your back muscles first, then maybe pushing your hands down and back to lift yourself a little higher. Slowly come back down, push back up to all fours. Reach your right arm all the way up toward the ceiling. Then reach your right shoulder and ear to the floor. Shoulder underneath your left elbow. Back of right hand to the floor. You can stay here or walk your left hand forward into your right. Push through your left arm. Pull with your right arm. Press left hip back. Right hip forward. Revolved child's pose. Here we can open up the back door of the heart per se. And it is said that, and it is anatomically true, that your heart is actually closer to the back side of your body. Walk your left hand back. Reach your right arm all the way up. Then lower your hands to the floor. Reach your left arm up. Left shoulder, ear to the floor. Feel free to walk your right hand forward and to the left. Push through your right arm. Pull with your left arm. Press right hip back, left hip forward. Walk your right hand back. Reach your left arm all the way back up. Lower your hand to the floor. Take your hands way out in front of you, knees under your hips. And then start to curl into your lower, middle, and upper back, light cow pose again. Push your hands down to lift your torso a little higher. Keep that, and then slowly start to melt your heart toward the floor. Push your hands down and forward, knees down and back. If you need to, you can crawl a little bit more forward so that your chest more easily reaches the floor. Otherwise, feel free to hover above the floor. You can either take chin down or look straight down, whichever is more comfortable for your neck. Lift your head, push your hands down, lift yourself back up. Walk your hands all the way back and then come into downward facing dog. Lift your knees, reach your thighs back, heels toward the floor. Pull your rib cage toward your spine. Lower your knees back to the floor, toes curled under. Walk your knees back a little bit and then have a seat on your feet. Interlace your fingers in front of your heart. Clamp your fingers closed and start to pull your elbows toward the opposite directions. Then flip backs of hands on top of head. Keep pulling on your fingertips and then push your arms towards straight, moving ribs back, tailbone forward. Keep chin out of your chest. Lower your hands to the floor. Bring the tops of your feet to the floor. Have a seat on your heels. Interlace fingers behind you. Shoulders back. Maybe straighten your arms. Lean back. Try to touch your knuckles to the floor as you push your hips forward. So you're taking some of that back bend out of the lower back. And then push through your knuckles and lift through your sternum. If your knuckles don't reach the floor, you can either separate hands, fingertips down, or take your hands on your hips and just curl back. Feel free to look up and back as long as you keep your neck long rather than crunching your skull to your upper back. Keeping your hands bound, lean forward, round your spine, try to keep your hips on your heels, forehead to or toward your knees or to the floor in front of your knees. Vajrasana postures. Slowly sit back up. Come on to all fours. Curl your toes under, lift your knees up. Look forward between your hands. Bend your knees, step or jump forward. Inhale, halfway lift, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, fold forward, Uttanasana. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold and hold here. Push hands down and forward, feet down and back. Inhale, lengthen your spine, bend your knees, take hands on hips, shoulders back, and slowly stand up. Interlace your fingers behind your back. Squeeze your shoulder blades toward each other. Maybe straighten your arms like you did last time. Bend your knees a little bit. Push your hips forward. Heels down and lift your chest as you push your legs straight. Start to curl back, standing camel. Don't hold your breath. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, Utkatasana, sit into an imaginary chair, leaning most of your weight in your heels, lifting through your heart, even with all of this feeling of your heart maybe wanting to collapse forward here. Really lift and reach and expand out through your arms, your chest. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, plank. Chaturanga. Feel free to use knees on the floor, lower halfway down. Inhale, upward dog, straighten your arms. Hips almost touching the floor, push your feet down. Shoulders back, breathe. And come into child's pose from plank. Knees down, knees wide. Forehead, nose on the floor. Feel free to take your arms by your legs, palms point up, and take your forehead to the floor. Take hands beside your ears, move your shoulders back, and slowly sit up. Staying on your knees, come up to a kneeling position. Feel free to pad your mat if you need a little bit of extra softness under your knees. Once you're ready, make your knees hip distance. Point your toes straight back or curl your toes to make it easier to reach for camel. Start with hands on hips. Push your tailbone forward, knees down, shoulders back, lift through your sternum and start to curl into an upper back bend. Breathe here, stay here, or at the same time, drop your hands to your heels. Push your hips forward, try to line your hips up with your knees. Put your shoulders back, throat back, head back, but try again to keep your neck long. In order to come out, heart first, lift up, palms in front of your heart, head last to lift. Interlace your fingers behind your neck so your pinky fingers are under the base of your skull. Gently pull up. And slowly come down. If you folded your mat up, unfold it. Come all the way down onto your back. Pull your knees toward your chest, and then from inside your legs, grab your ankles, tops of ankles, and pull your heels toward your hips. And then just let your legs fall out to the sides. Let gravity do the work. Let your legs relax, only activating your hands to hold your legs in place. Use your hands to help pull your legs back together. Keep your right leg lifted and lower your left foot to the floor so your right inner foot is flush with your left inner knee. Take your arms like cactus arms out to the sides, and then just drop your legs over to the left for a twist. You can use your left hand to your right outer thigh to help pull up and to push your thigh back into, rotating your right outer hip away from your right shoulder, tacking your right shoulder back. Slowly lift back up. Flip your right foot to the outer edge of your left knee and roll your legs to the other side. Stay here or reach your left arm up beyond your head and grab your left wrist with your right hand and pull up in the opposite direction. Slowly let go of your wrist, unhook your foot, and come back to center. Take your right foot to the floor and your left inner foot to your right inner knee. Arms to the sides, maybe right hand to left thigh to twist your legs over to the right. Tack left hip away from left shoulder back to the floor. Slowly come back up. Switch so your left outer foot is on your right outer knee. And roll your legs to the left. Feel free to grab your right wrist with your left hand and pull up. Slowly come back up, hips to center. Take one hand over your heart, and your other hand on your belly. Rest your knees together and your feet wide. Take a moment here to send yourself or someone you care about some love or compassion, maybe a little prayer for them or for you yourself. We can even, in this space, practice forgiveness to ourselves, maybe for being hard on ourselves or forgiving ourselves for being hard on others. And if you're feeling ready to forgive someone for something they may have done to you, you can use this space for that as well. Mostly just allowing yourself to not have to hold on to some sort of a pain in your heart for longer than necessary. Allowing this blockage that may exist to slowly dissolve and to make space for something new to enter, something fresh. Take a full breath in And as you exhale, let it out with a sigh. Gently and slowly roll to one side. Slowly press yourself back to seated. Thank you so much for joining me for this practice. If you enjoyed this practice, please hit the like button. And if you haven't yet subscribed, please go ahead and subscribe now and hit the little notification bell just so that you don't ever miss a new post. Have a wonderful rest of your day.